So I'm back, and today we are going to be taking a look at the Badcube's Backland figure. Here's the box. Again, it's a pretty simple box. Picture, stuff, things, more plain stuff. Huh, I just killed the light. That was interesting. Alright, it comes with an instruction manual. And now in this instruction manual, I do recommend, like I didn't use it for the Brawn when I first figured out how to transform him. Most of the stuff is the same, and it's not too hard, but I do recommend open it up, especially to this page, because this guy has completely different arms than Brawn, and this shows you where everything's supposed to be. So I do recommend taking a look at that if you have both of these guys, because he's a different figure. Now, as it even says in the instructions, they share the same base mold, but that is it. So we're gonna go over that real quick here. So differences. So he's got a different headpiece. As you can see, his kind of comes up over here, and he still has those hip problems. He doesn't have the same hip problems, so I think I'm gonna have to go in there and tighten this a little bit. Anyway, so he's got a different headpiece. He's got the grill up here. He does not. He's got a different head. He's got a different chest piece here. He's got different side pieces here. These are the side pieces that kind of clip into that chest piece to keep his arms in. So he's got those different than him. His arms are complete remold, or complete new mold. It's completely different than his arms. There's nothing on these arms that are the same, except for maybe the hands. Maybe. The waist piece is different. You can see he's got like this triangle bit right here, and my lights are a lot brighter because he's a darker figure, so he's kind of coming off wrong. So the waist piece is different. He's got more cubed design. The thighs are different. You can see he's got a different style design here than he does. The kneecaps are the same. Yeah. The feet are different. This is really hard to show off here, but the feet are different. He's got some more molding in his than he does. And he's got different weapons. He's got this gun instead of a drill, and instead of the little pistol, he's got a Decepticon detector, which doesn't work apparently. If you watch the show, you'll know what I'm talking about. This doesn't work. But in alt mode, the only thing that's really different is his tire is just a tire that sits on the roof. His tire, on the other hand, has this little bar doohickey to hold it in, but it also doubles as something to plug the gun into. So yeah, he's base mold is the same, but they retooled him significantly, and I think it paid off, because he doesn't just look like a rehash like the iGear one did. Let me grab him real quick. So the iGear version of him, which as you can see isn't even remotely the right colors or head sculpt or design, like these guys are identical in every way except for the head. That's the only difference between these two, and the guns. So this works, but retooling the entire design works better. So accessory wise, he does have the Decepticon detector. Now this does not plug into his hand. I think if you trim part of this down, maybe you can get it to. But I'm not gonna risk that. Basically, all you can do is slide it into his hand and close his fingers around it, and he just kind of holds it. That's really all you can do. As you can see, he's got the same problems the Brawn does. And then he's got his big rifle here. This does plug into his hand. Open up his fingers, and you can pull this out. And this does have the same tab, like Brawn's. And you just kind of, I think the hands are the same. And you just kind of fold it in there, tab it in. Holds very well. Again, like I said, they did do the hands right, or at least the tabs right for it. So yeah, there you go. Take this and you fold this up. This is its transformation. That's all it needs to do to go into vehicle mode. This one, all you gotta do is you fold the little black antenna up, and you kind of have to do it at the same time. So you just kind of fold it up like that. But yeah, one piece won't fold all the way up while the other piece is out, so you kind of have to just slowly rotate it around. And then he does still have the same gas can gimmick in his calves. So you take those out. Take this little piece here. Now this is molded differently than the bronze. These don't actually go together as seamless, I believe, as the other one. You kind of have to, yeah, because see, part of the gas can is actually part of the detector. So the gas can is actually molded differently too. So you plug that in, and then you plug that into those little gray tabs, and there you go. That's all there is. So yeah, arms, chest, waist, thighs, feet, head, and a head piece. All of those are different, just entirely different molds. So we essentially at this point, I would declare this almost a new figure as opposed to a different figure. But to transform him, you do not fold the hands in. The arms are actually a lot smaller than bronze, which it works better because it looks more like it should on this guy, whereas bronze looks really big and thick, but he's supposed to have big thick arms because he was muscle. And then you want to pull this piece out, fold these two pieces out and down, and then fold this down, put these out. These sections come out like this, and they'll rotate up, and the instructions also said to rotate the head backwards. I don't do that, unless it actually is a necessary transformation. So you fold these up, and there's a little tab there that plugs into the slot, and this tab here will plug into this side right here, and just like so. Real simple. The transformation is pretty similar except for the arms. So you want to take the arms here, and they fold in, and what they'll do is you rotate this around, and this will just fold back like so, and then you take this window here and you just kind of fold it up, and then this will just pull the waist down. This will just kind of fold in like this. Now my problem with this figure is that this does not actually, there's no place to actually tab this in here. So it has a lot harder time getting into truck mode than the Brawn does, because it doesn't have those extra little tiny tabs. And because of that, the tabs do, despite how small they are, they do make a difference. Anyway, like I said, it's pretty much the same transformation. So you fold this in like so, and try and get these things lined up. This will come up like so and tab into place. There's a little tab right here that plugs into this section here. And see, he doesn't even have the molded slot right there for the drill piece. So, I mean, they really thought this out when they designed this guy out off of the brawn mold. Untab the feet. Now, and then this is different too, because this one you actually have to kind of pull out and then around. It's on a slider joint in there. You actually have to pull out and rotate around. So you unplug that, and then you pull this up, and then you can rotate it. Slot these in, like so. Pull these things out, and then you're going to take this. This will rotate around, and then hinge the foot just a little bit, and like so. Rotate up, flip this around, tab it in, flip this around, tab it in. See, because these don't tab in, they don't stay in place, so it's a little bit more irritating. And the brawn was irritating enough as it was. Tab these together. And then this comes up, and then this little tab will plug into the door on both sides. Just barely. Alright, and then again, you just kind of have to rotate this just right so that it plugs into that top section. And as you can see, I'm having difficulties because those arms aren't staying in the right place, and the legs aren't staying in the right place. Oh boy. Tab that in, and you try and get that in, tab that up, like so, and you can see things aren't, like I said, things aren't holding together as well as the brawn. Some of the retooling, like the arms especially, they're just enough to really make a difference in the transformation. That makes it a little bit more irritating. Then you take the gas can, and I'm just kind of flying through this too. Aside from the arms, there's really no difference in the transformation. And then you plug that in, plug that on. He does roll. He's got all 4 tires this time, but he still uses that same tab system, so I question the longevity of the tires because of what happened to him. Anyway, so he rolls. He's pretty nice. And that's really all there is. You got a mounted gun. That's it. And then we'll just flip them back real quick. So these come down. This will come up. Unpeg the legs from each other. Take this section here. Fold this up. Fold this up. Rotate around. Rotate around. Rotate the foot down. Like so. Tab this in. right here. This will fold around, and that little square peg again will plug into that slot right there. You know, this section is, you know, pretty much identical, aside from this thing sliding out a little bit more. I think, yeah, he's got a little bit thinner legs, just a hair thinner, and I think that's why you have to rotate this inside panel the way you do, which is interesting. Which means the entire leg assembly is different, just looks similar. Fold this out, untab this. Unplug these. These will rotate around. Fold up the hips. Just fold in. You rotate the arms around. Fold this in. Rotate the arm around. Fold this in. Now, different from the Brawn figure is you want to tab this section in after. On Brawn, you wanted to tab the. I had that wrong. It's not backwards. You don't fold it like that. You fold it forward like that. Anyway, so you want to push these things in, and this in, and then this will fold in and tab into place, holding the arms. Brawn had the reverse where you want to get the chest piece in first and then fold those things in. Posability on this guy is the same. I just realized I didn't go over the posability, but it is the same as the Brawn figure as well. Even though he does have molded arms, they are the same. Same problem with legs. You can't double bend them as much as you'd like because they have a tendency of getting caught up on the kibble. So fold this up, and fold this up. And then you can take the gas can here and just untab it from this section here. Pull that little radar dish or Decepticon detector. Open his hand and then close his hand. Then you can take this section here and plug it in right back here. Drop it on the floor so that you have to take more time to get that. And then this will just tab in here. And there you go. Not a bad little figure. Still irritating. At least nothing's broken off on him yet, like the Brawn figure. But yeah, he's not bad. He's not a bad little guy. I dig him. So, for comparison, here he's next to Seeker Mold. I mean, I did this with the Brawn figure yesterday, so I'm sure you guys remember it. So there he is with the Seekers. Again, I don't think it works with the smaller classics or the larger classics. And here he is with the Springer. And the Wheeljack. So I think he does work pretty well with the MP cars. So, and just Masterpiece. I mean, he's a Masterpiece styled figure and a Masterpiece scaled figure. Rating on this guy, I'm going to give him I have to give him an 8 out of 10. The only reason why he's a little bit higher than him is that he hasn't broke yet. I have no faith in those tires, though, because of the way they're designed. It's just a very, very bad design. You know, you got two little plastic poles right here with the little tips at the end. And then when you push it into the tire, they actually have to bend in to fit into that slot. And sometimes when the plastic bends in, it doesn't unbend, so making that super loose. And what started on him was they were bent in like this permanently, so the tire wasn't holding on. So I tried to bend it out a little bit, but because the plastic right here is so thin, it just snapped right off. So I have no faith in these things whatsoever. I don't know why people still use them. It's just a cheap thing to do. You know, it's something you see on like a McDonald's toys. And you don't ever see it on a Masterpiece figure. So I really question why they couldn't just use a pin on these things. It would have been so much better. A lot of Hasbro figures don't even use them anymore. Just every now and then you do see it. But he still has the same flaws, clearance issues. The arms don't peg in now, which is actually worse than him. But all in all, he's a good figure. I do like him. You know, I have to give him a 7 out of 10. I have to drop that down just because the arm thing is very irritating. You're trying to get him transformed. You're trying to get these guys transformed as it is a nightmare, like with him. But at least when the arms peg into that spine thing, at least it holds it in place while you take your time to get the legs right. This one doesn't hold into place, so you have to squeeze them while you're doing the legs, and it's just like, wow, can this go any worse? Can this be any worse of a design? So, I mean, they did a good job designing the figures. I think they're designed very well. I just think that if they were bigger with that same design elements, it would work better. So I think they should have gone a little bit of a simpler route. Not nearly as simple as these things, but a little bit simpler would have been better. So yeah, I'm going to push these guys back, and tomorrow we'll take a look at the Quint Journal that comes as an addition to these guys if you buy them in the 2-pack.